This is a presentation that I did in the ACM CHI 2019 conference. I'm sharing this to make it more accessible to understand what the highlights of the paper is. So my name is Diego Munoz, and with Bernd Pleurer and Margot Brereton from the Queensland University of Technology, we presented this paper in the CHI conference called Position Exchange Workshops, a method to design for each other in families. In this project, we focus on the relationship between parents and their adult children after the children leave home. The main motivation for this project was that we were looking for ways in which we could consider the perspectives of both adult children and the parents into the technology design, the design process. So we found in the literature that many works are considering either independent accounts of the perspectives of the different parties, or they're just considering one of them. So this can lead to either dismiss important aspects of one of the perspectives, or they can lead to designs that are recognizing the differences between the parties. So then the design is avoiding them and not confronting them. But we found that there are some other works that are actually considering as parts of the methods a presentation and a confrontation of the different perspectives. So we share this view, and in that we present the position exchange workshops. So going one step back, what is position exchange? So each of us has a different position, what it is to be a parent, what it is to be a child. We have our own understandings that are constantly growing based on the experiences that we have and the experiences we share with different people. So when we are interacting with people, we are presenting our own positions to them, and they are presenting their positions to us. So as we are exposed to the positions of other people, we develop our own understandings of them. So in a nutshell then, the positions are the accumulation of those experiences that we personally grow, and the position exchange is the interaction that we have with other people, and in the ways in which they present their positions to us and we present the positions to others, and that leads to the growing of the personal positions of everyone. So what we did was that we conducted 14 workshops. We had participants from seven different countries, and all the adult children had left their parents' home within the last 6 years. It was one single session that lasted around 2 hours, in which we had one parent or both of them and the child, and we discussed about the relationship while performing 3 different activities that encouraged this discussion through the exchange of the positions to reflect on their own personal positions on their relationship. So now I'm going to present the 3 different methods that we used in the workshops and link them to the findings and give some examples. So the first method was card sort for me and you. This was a card sorting activity in which I gave the participants a set of cards that had some different technology media, and they had to sort them in their personal order of preferences. So for example, we would have on the left here we have that maybe one parent would say that the top 3 choices are WhatsApp, Skype, and Messenger. And then the child's 3 top choices would be Instagram, Messenger, and Snapchat. So we started talking about the commonalities and the differences between them, and we also talked about how they communicated between themselves and about how they communicated with the rest of the family, including group communication. This activity was useful as an icebreaker because it was not challenging for them, and it was a very lightweight conversation. And the participants decided how deep they wanted to go in the conversations about technology and their relationships in this part of the workshop. In relation to that, I want to share this example of this Australian mother, and she was with the child here, and she took the opportunity to talk about how all the family missed him in the technology, in the interactions that they had in the group communication. So she said that whenever they see his name and a little comment, everybody talks about him, giving all these good vibes and say, "We love you." Whereas anyone else just gets nothing, but he puts something on, and it is like the whole world turns to him. It's like, oh, that's great, son. Good, good. So she was talking about this and talking about how he didn't reply many of the messages. And during the same workshop, the child grabbed his phone and he started installing the application again. So he had actually uninstalled the application. He had quit the family group, so he wasn't even able to see the messages from the rest of the family. But in this process, he started understanding the positions of the mother and the positions of the rest of the family, how they valued that he participated, and there was an explicit act of renegotiation that was reflected on him installing the application. The second method was called Will I Lie to You? That was based on the TV show with the same name. I asked the participants prior to the workshop that they sent me 5 true facts and 5 false facts about themselves. So then they had to guess if they were true or false during the workshop. So in this part, these phrases were focused on whatever they wanted in their personal lives. So some examples are here. My favorite drink is vodka, which was true. Or I'm a morning person, which was false. The participants had the chance to have a say here because they took turns to talk about themselves or to talk about the other. They could also set the agenda of the workshops in this part because they defined the topics based on whatever they wanted to talk about themselves. And they also had opportunities to challenge the positions of the other, discussing or sometimes complementing the answers that they were giving about the phrases. The example that I want to show here is one Colombian son that he said, I want to get tattoos all over my body, which was true. And he sent this phrase knowing that her mother and her father didn't like tattoos at all. So in this case, even the father said that, the son reported that the father thought that the tattoos were only for felons. And I grabbed the opportunity also to challenge the participants' positions. I asked the mother, if you had the chance to design a tattoo for your son, what would it be? And she said, I would just remove them all. So, and they started laughing there. This showed that even though the positions were completely the opposite, they had an understanding of the differences and they got to an agreement of accepting those differences, and that led to a good relationship between themselves. The third part of the workshop was a magic machine for you. In this part, the participants had to create a fictional technology that was based on what the other wanted. So they had to design for each other, and then we discussed about the relationship. They had some time to build the machine and then present it to the other, and then we discussed what they liked and what they didn't like about the magic machines. So the participants designed these machines, putting themselves in the shoes of the other, and they created the fictional technologies based on a design brief that was decided by the other after a short discussion that we had after finishing both of the previous activities. The example that I want to show here is a Colombian mother that she and her child both agreed that they wanted to share some physical contact in relation to what they used to do on a Sunday afternoon. They said that it was very usual that they would go to bed together and they would just share some time and share the warmth of being there. The context wasn't important here for them. So it wasn't important if they were watching TV or if they were watching something good or funny or boring on TV, or if one of them fell asleep. It was just about them being together and sharing the warmth. So this was a magic blanket that would allow them to share, to be in the same bed over a distance. This showed that there was an understanding of each other's expectations, because they both knew the needs of the other and how both of them agreed on what they wanted to do for this kind of magic machine. And it also represents a reimagination of their positions because they are seeing the future in the relationship with something in mind that is going to be better for them. In this case, sharing the act of being together, sharing the warmth of being together with fictional technology. One additional example is one mother from Malaysia that she said, "I am always frank and tell people how I actually feel," which was false. This reflection continued to go on in the Magic Machine's design. So she acknowledged that this was something important for the child, because the child, when the child asked her how she was to the mother, she would ask her again and again and again, and the mother wouldn't tell her true feelings. So she designed this magic machine that is a cap that used to belong to the child in order to share with her share a magical hologram. So whenever the child wore this cap, then there would be a magical hologram that would show the true feelings of the mother. So in this case, this showed an understanding of the positions, especially from the mother that was acknowledging the problem that this was for the child. There was also a will to negotiate the positions, because the mother was willing to find different ways in order to show her feelings to the child. And there was also a reimagination of the relationship, because they were seeing a future in which the mother would be more honest and they would be more open in conversations. So as a discussion then, we see that the position exchange workshops are showing ways in which we can consider the perspectives of both parties in the design process by creating conversations about positions. And this was given thanks to the different qualities of the workshops and the activities, that they were playful, interactive, and engaging. They led to open-ended conversations that were led mostly by the participants, and there was also a balance of the terms of participation, so both of them had an opportunity to present their own position. We found that the understanding, the renegotiating, and the reimagining positions can help understand the relationship and lead to a better co-design. So we saw that the confrontation of positions was a good, we found friendly ways of doing confrontation of positions, and it was positive for the design process. And this also helped to raise particular interactions that were very specific to the different family settings. So we got, with this, we think that we can get to negotiated and particular design ideas. And we also found a rationale to facilitate conversations that can get to these design ideas. So, as a summary, we have two main contributions. And when we do co-design, we often overlook how to conduct these conversations between family members that can be very intimate and private. So we presented these three methods to facilitate the discussions with simple facts, like holding tangible cards or saying short phrases about themselves that may reveal details about their relationship as parents and adult children, by making their positions explicit. And we also found, we also showed different ways in which the position exchange can contribute to enrich the relationship between them by understanding, renegotiating, and reimagining their positions on the relationship. So thank you very much.